Hello, everyone. Hello, Light.
Hola.
Welcome to another episode of Roll With It Behind the Rolls, our episode 12 recap. You ready for this?
No.
We got all our yawns out of our system.
Are you sure? Because I muted.
Yeah, I'm also on push to talk, so you'll never know.
Dun dun
Dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
Hey, Neffy.
The stream would know, I guess, because I can't push to talk.
Ha! That's true.
Hi, Neffy. All right, so do you want to give us a little recap of where we were at last episode, and then we'll get started?
No, I vote you to do the recap.
Do I have to?
Yes. I think
Um,
that's going to be my main thing from now on. Just
that's
make
not
you all
fair.
do recaps.
That's just pushing off the responsibility, Lady DM.
I am goddess of my realm. I
Well,
do what I want.
episode 11. I guess we got into some shenanigans in the house. By the way, if anybody's listening to this right now, we have a full playlist on not only our sessions on Sundays, we have the episodes for the recaps, which are just kind of basically an easier way for you to catch up if you ever miss an episode, because I know sometimes 4.5 hours is a lot to catch up on, you know? So we try to do around like 1 hour recaps or less. Today might be less. But yeah,
Depends how we feel.
it depends, yeah, or what we get into in as far as conversation. Um, so the captain decides that we are going to take like a couple of days of vacation, and we are in this house that appears to be magical, kind of like the ship is, and the island is, and Victor gets into some shenanigans, which is really fun if you go back to listen to that entire scenario. It was just hilarious. I think a lot of us were just broken the entire time. Um and what else? Victor got into some things. My character Brick has been stressed out of his mind because he thinks there's something wrong with the house, but everybody keeps dismissing it because OOC, or over the table, the it's Nyx that's doing it. There's nothing wrong with the house. He's just playing a prank and messing with everybody's head. But yeah, I think other than that, there was a couple of things, a couple of really good conversations. For example, Magpie's conversation with the captain that actually happened in the beginning of this episode that we'll talk about. But even in episode 11, like who was Victor as Voren kind of had a chat with Magpie, and it seems like while there's been a lot of shenanigans, there's also been small moments of people opening up or getting to know each other a bit, and it's been kind of nice, except for Brick being stressed all the time. What else did I miss? Any other big events?
um. Oh, did you mention the book?
Well,
We'll get in that.
that happened
No,
this
no, no.
episode, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, episode 12, we started off with Magpie running into the captain in this strange location. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Light?
Yeah, so Magpie decided to explore. I mean, she is in her own thoughts. That some stuff has been coming up, and kind of my point of view, and I think even Neffy, you can type. Um, it's she has some stuff going on. So exploring, she found a cave. She went in the cave, and it led down down like a spiral stairs, and at the end there's a big, door. The door open. Then she saw, it's like the beautiful white sand, and then on top is like basically underwater. And at the end was the captain. The captain motioned her to come, and they had a conversation. Um, and hopefully, with that conversation, kind of open Magpie's eyes a little bit or thoughts. That uh, I think Magpie is how do I say antisocial. um, but it's hard for her because of many years being by herself and stuff. And um, the captain kind of gave her a task. And so, like, basically kind of just be the opposite of you. Try something different. It's like she understands that basically she eats like a bird, but maybe put a little bit more. Um, Now there's reasons why Magpie does that, and at the same time, it's like don't overstuff yourself too, kind of thing. But sometimes you need to change a little bit on who you are, but at the same time, you know, don't overchange because it's who you are, kind of thing. So,
Yeah, it's an interesting position to be in for to tell somebody to step out of their comfort zone. Um and especially when you're telling somebody like do something different than what you normally do, it can come off, or it does have the possibility to come off as slightly offensive, right? Like, don't be who you are, be somebody else. But
mhm,
what the captain was intending was like, if you see that certain things aren't working, then do something different. Like, don't keep doing the same thing because you're not going to get different results. um
My
and
lord, you have a new follower.
and I think that that's kind of a good point, and it was a good conversation.
mhm.
And then from there, she met back with the rest of the group at the house. Um, the group is everybody's taking this vacation slightly different. It's like um, there's
I know
those
people are freaking stressed.
yeah,
Stress vacation.
there's those that are having a stresscation, and there's those that are just being mischievous. Um, and I think some people are actually relaxing, but
Hmm.
it's been very interesting for the most part. And Susie, thanks for the follow, by the way. Um, but it's been fun to see all of the different like aspects to what's going on and how people are you know in this environment and dealing with things differently. Because for Vorin, he had no idea that he was going to be uh stressed out by the freaking everything being crooked and in disarray, and the house just being haunted apparently. But everybody else is like, no, there's nothing wrong with the house. The captain's like, there's nothing wrong with the house. So it's like, all right, fine, fuck it, I guess I gotta let it go. um but yeah, so we have breakfast, we talk some things over. um where was it that I'm getting mixed up because we had a couple of times that we ate. Um so after breakfast we went training, right? We decided to go.
Oh, that was later.
Was that later?
Much later. Duh. Yes. Well, I said duh. Um, yes. So the first time you guys had it was lunch. Where I said it was like kind of like a Hawaiian buffet kind of thing, and um, then everybody kind of like departed a little bit, like
Oh, that's true,
um,
yes.
kind of like r- rest or do what you need to do kind of thing. Nyx went off drunk and passed out somewhere in the middle of, I was gonna say the desert, but
The
the
desert, the
but the
beach.
beach. And I think Minerva went to also relax. Um, I know people were just kind of everywhere. I know that Warren wanted to go take a nap.
He was always stimulated and just needed to take a nap. He went
And what happened?
So he went to his room and he discovered that his room was, I wouldn't say trashed, but it was not an optimal performance. Everything that he had placed or that he took the time to arrange to his satisfaction was shifted or moved or, you know, made wrong in one way or another. And he couldn't at that moment deal with it or deal with the fact that it was just everything was going wrong. It's been rough for Voren since he got there. So he was leaving the room because he just couldn't be in there. And he ran into Celeste. And Celeste saw right through his no, there's I'm fine. Not that he was really trying to hide it. I'm fine. And she was like, are you really? And he took her to see the room. And I'm curious as to like, okay, so Celeste is an NPC, right? Or like she's played by the DM. How do you think the room looked to Celeste in comparison to how it looked to Voren? Like, would it have been just like a normal room and Voren is like, ah?
No, because Nyx, if people don't know or realize, he's a fairy. So he's a fae. And they're are mischievous. And so I pictured like if there was like, paintings on the wall, if there was a mirror or there was like, decoration objects or whatever, I imagine them being tilted. I mean, I think he said like on a small angle, but I feel like he probably went at it. So probably stuff was upside down, maybe stuff was moved to the left. It was probably just more chaotic. I was also picturing like he could flip the bed upside down, but I didn't go that far. But just stuff moved around, and probably even his stuff has been touched, kind of like maybe his bag or his luggage or whatever was just, instead of propped up in the corner or whatever he would put it, it maybe was on the floor or maybe it was like,
Yeah.
Tilted or something like that. So yeah, just imagine it like being a little chaotic.
Yeah, because like the way that I've explained it to Voren, and the way that it like OCD works for some people is that it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to feel good for that person at that time, right? Like people think that with like OCD, it's like, well, you don't keep everything straight or you don't keep everything organized, and it's like, well, that's not the way that works. Like in my mind, that's why it's a disorder. It's like as long as it feels right at that moment, it probably won't feel right in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but if it feels right at that moment, then you adjust it that way. And so when he comes in and anything could just been off, like what you say, like I don't know, shoes separated or like a pencil moved out of place or something, and it would have just been like, what the fuck? Especially since he took the time to, like, in one of the earlier episodes, I said, oh, I'm gonna make sure that he takes the time to arrange everything the way that he likes it. So he knows what he arranged. And well, Celeste was nice enough to say, well, you sleep in my room and I'll sleep here if it bothers you that much. And that was nice of her. I guess we did. I could have asked, like, what does her room look like? But he didn't, because anything would still be better than living in that chaos. So he went to nap at her room and she stayed in his room. And that was it. And then we Well, we met for dinner after that, right?
Yeah, it would have been dinner. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I think everybody was just kind of hanging out. Some people went by the beach. Some people hit the bathhouse. Um, Not like a whole lot of meaty stuff happened, but just character stuff. Um, what happened at dinner?
I think that was actually when um people finally was asking where's Nyx.
Oh, right, yeah.
And um as you guys were kind of talking, um Neffy's character, Magpie, went to go search for him. And at that point the island helped out. Kind of making like a surfboard out of sand kind of thing.
Lucky.
um right. And found Nyx, and Nyx is just there as a tiny fairy, um, drunk and talking in his drunk sleep, I guess. And so apparently he was fighting a kraken in his dreams. So she took him and uh, you know, the old uh, well, she went to dinner with everybody and basically again, started she laid a pillow down and he started punching the pillow and biting the pillow. Um, and then she kind of moved the pillow to kind of give him food because he was going to eat the pillow thinking it was a kraken.
I want to know if he would try to eat a kraken in real life. Or this was just a sleepy, drunken Nyx that was getting everything. Hands down, he would try at least, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at that point where I think everybody kind of like dispersed doing their own thing.
Mhm.
Nyx got a taste of espresso.
Oh boy. Yeah. I think it's funny. We should probably mention the fact that Nyx's roles the entire
Oh
episode.
my god.
It's like nobody's ever going to know that he was actually the one causing chaos in the house.
Yes.
Any perception check has got like he matched it or beat it. And it was insane. Like nobody
Oh,
could
by 1 point.
off by
Yeah,
1
1 point
point.
was ridiculous. I mean, oh yeah, during that time, like before the whole drunken Nyx thing, he kept bugging Minerva like 3 or 4 times. And all the checks was in his favor.
Mm-hmm.
And that and the one thing is the captain knows who it is. So, uh, and it's kind of funny because it's like, you know, um, he's still doing it. He's still whatever. He hasn't said who it is. He knows. I think he knows that it's Vorn is stressed out about this because you know, he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah. So I think like later, um, after like the whole the espresso, which I introduced espresso into my campaign, there is benefits or downfalls, who knows. Um, but during that time, Warren went out to this kind of like a pier, and I think Euphemia went down like the beach, and everybody else was like either in their room or relaxing or something. And um, you got to picture a tiny fairy who is probably glowing, most likely glowing, taking an espresso shot and zooming everywhere. And a couple people saw shooting stars, which that was next. Um, there's been like, you know, I kind of picture like kind of like a bug basically hitting the walls, and that's what Nyx was doing. And he got to the point where he smacked himself against the window of Victor, which Victor thinks there's huge bugs on the island now. So yeah, that's been quite interesting. Oh, even during during that dinner also, um, people were questioning or trying to figure out what's going on, what's linked with Cthulhu, aka Thuthu, and the whole Elemental Queen, and how that is linked, intertwined. And it's kind of kind of funny how the fat black cat said Thuthu and just hopped off, and nope, it just didn't phase anybody. Um, but during that conversation, they asked the captain if they can basically see the items. And also during that time, I think it was Warren that asked Victor, "Hey, maybe your book can see, or maybe has some kind of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge." And what happened?
Well, that didn't go well. Well, I guess it's a matter of perspective, right? Because
Mhm.
we now have a lead, I guess. Um, the book. Well, Victor opened the book, or she woke up because we were talking about her. And she recognized one of the gems, and she touched it. Like she, a hand, like a female hand, kind of like a mage hand type of thing, manifested and touched the gem, and then she collapsed.
Mhm.
And now all the writing in the book is kind of being encrypted in a way, where it's ever changing, the letters and the patterns and everything like that, so it can't be read. And Victor's fucking panicking.
Mhm.
Rightfully so, I guess. And yeah, Break felt horrible, but it was just like, for Brick, it was like, well, I mean, if we don't know what's going on, then we should ask others. Like that's what he does.
Mhm.
He gets information, and we're not gonna get any information talking about it with each other because we don't know anything. So it's like, well, let's see who else. And so he had that idea of the book, but now he feels horrible because Victor's having some kind of existential crisis, not having his spell
Mhm.
book. And which led him later on to want to train with some weapons as per the captain's advice.
Because it can happen to anybody if you think about
It
it.
can.
It's a good thing. Which I think you guys had some good. Well, you definitely had some good training and bad training.
Oh boy. It's it's funny because when you mentioned it, I was thinking about it. And so just to get there, well, was that after that, or was it the morning after? It was the morning after, right? And something very interesting happened before.
Oh, okay, great. So, as everybody, started seeing shooting stars and stuff, eventually people did go to sleep. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And people started waking up. Magpie was the first one to wake up, and she went downstairs. Voren woke up, and he didn't have a shirt on
Right.
because
Well, he went to he bathed and he didn't want to wear the same shirt that he was wearing before. So he just
correct.
went downstairs shirtless.
Mhm.
And well, you go on, DM.
So yeah, he went downstairs, and eventually, got up, and Celeste, she walked out of her room, but it was Voren's room at the time because they did switch. But the one thing is, everybody didn't know that they switched.
Yeah, so to everybody, she just came out of Voren's room. She spent the night in Voren's room.
Yep. I mean, she said morning, and people were questioning, wiggle their eyebrows.
Everybody got so giddy.
And yeah, and that was something.
It was freaking hilarious. Because the timing of everybody coming out of their rooms at the same time and seeing her, and we're a bunch of children, apparently.
It's just one of those things. And eventually everybody went downstairs and got breakfast, and it was just kind of like those oohs and ahs.
And it
And
kept
oh,
escalating with
I
the things that we
bet.
were saying. It was
Yes. Yes. And so eventually it got to the point where, it started to click. Oh no, Victor finally said it.
yeah, when did you go official?
Yes. And it was still kind of like questioning because, both of them were just like, what?
Huh.
But then then it hit, made Celeste blush, and Warren, Warren was
He just laughed because it was like a nervous laugh. It was like it's like, first of all, this is funny that you guys just kind of jumped to that conclusion. But then second, she's sitting right there. Like, so it was just like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing, but it's funny. And it was like, in my head, it was like, why? Because we're both beeflings? Is that what's happening?
And that's what I even thought. But we didn't say it out loud. We could have, but we didn't say it.
Yep. Put the tieflings together, let them lock horns.
Oh my goodness.
But it was such a hilarious interaction. And I kind of like, see, I kind of kept feeding it with lines that could be taken a different way, but meant nothing, and it was just so funny.
Yeah.
It was like, thank you for making the bed. Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I was like, oh, and I slept pretty well. Oh, I'm sure you did, everybody.
Yeah. Yep. The group was shipping them together.
Yeah. And then after that settled and we explained ourselves, which I kind of feel like some people still don't believe us. We decided to do some training to help. And poor Magpie was so confused. I know. Victor was, like I said, having an existential crisis. So we're like, all right, let's go do some training. But he had been there before. So he kind of told us how to get there. And we did. So Magpie was helping him with the bow. I think like Voren helped out a bit, but then Voren quickly went to like, he was like, well, one thing is hitting a target, then another is hitting a moving target. Like, your enemy's not going to stay still. So he grabbed the target, started moving around with it. And
his fingers almost got it first.
And instantly, the challenge was different for Victor. Like, he was doing really good until that target started moving. Brick almost lost his fingers. And then, because Brick was further away, he didn't hear the conversation that was happening between Magpie and Victor. And Victor apparently said, well, I'm better with a firebolt. And then he did it.
Yep.
Nobody told Brick the plan. Brick was there standing, studying the target, not even looking in that direction, and he gets hit in the shoulder with the firebolt,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't do like it didn't hit a lot. I like to think in my head cannons because he's holding the thing, so small area of hit, but he got hit in the shoulder, and fire resistance also helps. But then the reaction happened. Brick says, "Motherfucker," and then does hellish rebuke and lights Victor in flames.
Yeah, hit him for 22 hit
22.
points. Yep. That was a good one, to be
That was a
honest.
good one. And it had to happen in one of my friends.
Which now I said it. I said I pictured him kind of laying down, crossing his arms. He's a Dumpier, so that is a half vampire. And I don't know, that's what I pictured him doing. And eventually people did help and heal him and heal Brick too. So
Yeah, Brick was so sorry. It was so reactionary. Because he wasn't paying attention. So it was like just kind of a defense mechanism. It just happened, which that's what hellish rebuke is.
mhm.
But eventually they got healed. Everything got better. I still don't fully know if Victor forgives Brick for that. but we'll see.
I mean, he hit you the first time.
That's true, right? We're even, kind of. All right, so from there we went back, right?
Mhm. Yes. Magpie disappeared, so Vorn used his booming voice, which doesn't set well with Euphemia.
She
It
fucking
brings back,
hates it.
yeah, it just brings back old memories, not necessarily him, but from her past. And Magpie was actually inside the house, and um during that time, I guess they had a small conversation. I think, yeah, it had been like eating dinner or something like that, or lunch. I don't remember. Um, but people still set out to relax and do whatever. And um, Victor and Magpie had a conversation, and I think it went really well. It definitely opened up between them, and they both saw I think different sides of each other.
Yeah, I think that's the most
And
vulnerable
understanding.
they've been with each other the entire time.
Mhm.
And I thought it was good.
Mhm.
I wonder, where it goes from here, because I feel like when you open up to somebody, it's fine. It was natural, right? RP happens. When you open up with
100%.
somebody, it can either go good or it can go bad, right? Because
Mhm.
one, you can easily feel betrayed. If any of that information is ever used against you or happens to be passed on without your consent, or two, it can be the foundation for a stronger friendship, right? But
Mhm.
it's risky. It's a risky move, and I think that's kind of what Magpie's been dealing with the entire time, is that risk of not only getting to know people but opening herself up to people, with that possibility. And I think Victor handled it better than I think he has handled any other interaction. So this was kind of some really cool character development on his part as well. Even
Mhm.
even though I feel like it was more focused on Magpie than it was on Victor, but it was a really cool interaction to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Oh
don't
yeah,
have to be
100%.
sorry, Nevi.
Yeah, you don't have to at all.
But yeah. What else? Oh, and then I guess that's it. That's where we ended it. And
Mm-hmm.
there will be some other conversations because we're going to be setting out shortly to like our next adventure after our vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah, I have no cliffhangers
yeah,
this
no
time.
cliffhangers for the first time. um but you know, it ended on that really like nice note of Victor and Magpie having a nice chat.
Mhm.
And is it the next day that we're heading out or in 2 days? I don't remember.
Nope. Basically, this will be your quote unquote last day of relaxing. So yeah, so you have oh, it's gonna be lunchtime. That's what happened. So basically you
Mhm.
have like the rest of the afternoon till night, and then
And
at
then
6
morning we're out,
a.m.
yeah.
Yes, 6 a.m.
Yeah, so I guess we have to take advantage of having uh dirt and sand to stand in because we're out on the ship again.
Yeah.
But so if this ship can teleport, does it often teleport and we don't know, or does it sail? Or is
It
there
sails.
is certain areas that it can teleport to?
You don't know.
Damn it.
I mean, at this moment, the ship is on vacation. It's
Mhm.
been bouncing in the ocean.
Yeah, just
At
bathing.
the moment, it's kind of like tilting, probably sleeping, you know. Who knows what happens? You know, it's just chilling. Um,
If it wasn't magical, all our shit would be like a mess in the ship.
yep, yep.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now, um, is there anything that you want to fill in after that, or
I don't know what to say.
no? Yeah, I think I think that was pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah.
There. I guess the only like mini cliffhangers are that like Vorin said he wanted to talk to Minerva, um, but that's just a conversation he's been meaning to have with her.
hmm
And so we'll have that when we return, which brings me to my next point. We're going to be off
Yes.
for 2 weeks.
hmm We will return January 5th, I believe.
5th.
5th is yes.
So, yeah,
Yep.
next year. That'll be
Next year.
that'll be our 13th session. It's going to be sad waiting for 2 weeks. Oh, well, 3 weeks, I guess,
hmm
right? Because 2 weeks off. Um
hmm
And, but, you know, with the holidays, everything gets a little complicated. People start taking time off, family starts visiting, and we don't really want to force anybody to feel, you know, like they have to take time away from their family or try to make it work. Just we have to enjoy the holidays, right?
Exactly. And this gives me plenty of time to come up with other things.
I'm sure.
I got plans.
I'm sure you have plans.
I have plans on top of plans. And then at the same time, all of a sudden stuff happens during the
And you'll
session.
make it up. Yeah.
Make it up as I go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for us for today. This was our recap for episode 12. Again, like I said earlier, you can check out the entire playlist of not only our campaign but our recap episodes on YouTube. And I actually have, if you're watching this on Twitch, I have links below in my description for that. So in my bio, whatever you want to call that area. there's
Something there.
there's links for that so you can get caught up and join us next year, January 5th, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. EST.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh wow. Next year.
Yeah. God, this year
All
went
right.
by so fast. Anyway, thank you guys
It
for
did.
hanging out. And again, this was the lovely DM Light and me, which I play Vorin. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.
See you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.